the NBA just possibly blessed the Memphis Grizzlies. Of course, the in-season tournament for the NBA Cup was released today, and the pool of teams the Grizzlies are in quite possibly could be in the favor of the Beale Street Bears. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Grizzlies Digest. I'm Tristan Harlen. Excited to be back with you. And like I mentioned, the NBA Cup was released today, and the bracket of teams, the pool of teams, if you will, were released. And we're going to dive into that today here on Grizzlies Digest. But before we begin, always, once again, turning heel on me. 67% of you guys are not subscribed to the 33.0% of you guys that are. To my 33%, thank you so much. To my 67 percenters, come on now. Click that subscribe button. It's everybody's favorite price, free 99. We're just about here for the preseason to begin. And, of course, the regular season follows suit. So if you like what you see, like what you hear, like watching stuff about the Memphis Grizzlies, just go ahead and click that subscribe button for you, boy. But, of course, we're talking about the NBA Cup. The group draw results, the tournament tips October 31st. And in the West A, you got the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Suns, the Kings, and the Jazz. In West B, you've got the Mavericks, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans. In the West C, you got the Nuggets, the Warriors, the Rockets, the Blazers, and the Spurs. Now, on the East side, you've got in Group A, you've got the Hawks, Clippers, You've got the Hawks, the Cavaliers, the Pacers, the Raptors, and the Wizards. And then following that, you got the Celtics, Nets, Pistons, Magic, and 76ers. Then in the final group, East C, you've got the Hornets, Bulls, Miami Heat, Milwaukee Bucks, and the New York Knicks. Now, going back to West B, where the Grizzlies currently lie, there's two teams in that group that are division rivals with the Grizzlies, that being the Mavericks and the New Orleans Pelicans. All three teams are in the NBA Southwest Division in the Western Conference. Then the Clippers, of course, they have a history with the Memphis Grizzlies in the postseason, going back to the Grit and Grind era. And some once Jaren and Ja got to the roster. And then, of course, everybody's favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers. I say that sarcastically because if you're a true Grizzlies fan, you cannot stand the Lakers. Of course, the guy behind me, Pau Gasol, ended up going from the Grizzlies to the Lakers. And, of course, the brother of Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol, went from the Lakers to the Grizzlies. Now, if you ask me, I like this group for the Grizzlies. It's a very winnable side of the group. Now, the only thing that concerns me is what version of Luka Doncic and what version of LeBron James are we going to see? We're going to see the LeBron James that got into it with Dylan Brooks when the Grizzlies were playing the Lakers in the playoffs, or are we going to see the LeBron James that is not worried about the NBA Cup and is just taking a backseat to for the rest of the team and making it Luka Doncic's team? Now, the same thing goes for the Clippers. I mean, they've got Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Paul George. Yeah, I believe they're all still on the same roster. I apologize if I'm wrong, but they looked tough. Now, if this was 5 or 10 years ago, that would be a scary team. But the fact of the matter is that most of those guys are over the age of 35, and I don't think Kawhi Leonard has played a full season since he has won a championship. So, could come into benefit for the Grizzlies there. The Pelicans, now if Zion is not doing any promiscuous activities, he can stay healthy, then that would be a good little matchup for Ja and Zion to go head to head in a group contest like this. And then the debut of the Duke superstar Cooper Flagg for the Mavericks, the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft, be able to see him in action, as well as Anthony Davis and the rest of the Mavericks roster. Now, if you ask me, again, like I just said, I think this is winnable for the Grizzlies. We're gonna get into the schedule here in a bit, but I definitely think the Mavericks and the Pelicans are the two easiest teams to beat in this group. The Clippers, I don't see them possibly being a threat, so that can be an easy win. Now, the only one that I'm concerned about is the Lakers, as I already mentioned, but as we go through the Cup rules and everything like that, we'll dive more into that. But moving forward with the NBA Cup, for those of you that are not familiar, the NBA Cup will tip off on Friday, October 31st, and team markets and culminate with the semifinals and championship taking place at a neutral site. The complete schedule will be released in August. It was released Apologize for that. My mom was beeping in. But, of course, it'll take place at a neutral site in Las Vegas. The complete schedule will be released in August, which it was released yesterday. And the Cup will consist of 2 stages, group play and the knockout rounds. Group play, as you see here, all 30 teams will be randomly drawn into a group of 5, which randomly is kind of pushing it. There's no way, if we go back and we look at this, there's no way that's random. I'm sorry, but there's just no way. The only way I could see it truly being random is if most of these teams weren't in the same division. I mean, if you move the Spurs and the Rockets in the Group B, then it's a Southwest Division affair. If you move anybody else out, and you look at all these, you look at the West, okay? The West has got Devin Booker, SGA, Anthony Edwards in the same group. LeBron, Kawhi, James Harden, not Russell Westbrook, but Chris Paul, Cooper Flag, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Zion Williamson, and all these superstars, or former superstars, in West B. And then they got Steph Curry, Nikola Jokic, Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is in Phoenix now. Yeah, Dylan Brooks is in Phoenix now. I apologize. You got the young Rockets roster. Damian Lillard's back in Portland. Victor Wembanyama's back from his scary absence. I mean, I don't believe it's random. They say it's random, but it's just like the NBA lottery. There's a little bit of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we as fans will never see. But going back to this, of course, where was I? Beginning Friday, October 31st, and continuing through Friday, November 28th, each team will play 4 designated group play games on cup nights, one against each opponent in its group, with 2 games at home and 2 games on the road. Of course, you see the knockout rounds. It explains that. 8 teams will advance to the knockout rounds. A team with the best standing in group play in each of the 6 groups will in 2 wild cards. The knockout round will consist of single elimination games. The quarterfinals, blah, 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 blah. And semifinals championship will play in Vegas on December 13th and 16th, respectively. The knockout teams will compete for a prize pool in the NBA Cup championship trophy. You're seeing the rest there. And then moving forward, as I hit the wrong button. Now this is talking about group play. As you can read it as I kind of highlight some bullet points from it. If you want to, pause the video and read it if you'd like. But a team will play each other in each of the 4 other teams in its group in one group play game. A team's record in these 4 interconference games will determine whether the team qualifies for the knockout rounds. In the event 2 or more teams are tied within a group, the tie among the teams will be broken according to the following tiebreakers in sequential order: head-to-head record in group play, point differential in group play, total points scored in group play, record from the 2024-2025 NBA regular season, which I don't know if I agree with because it's a new season, but regardless. And a random drawing. There's nothing random about the NBA. If it comes down to this and the Grizzlies and Lakers are in it, we all know who's going to come down to. I ain't even got to dive into that conspiracy theory. But overtime scoring will not count towards a point differential in the total points tiebreakers in the NBA Cup, which I don't agree with. But again, you can pause if you want to finish reading this. But essentially, going into the knockout round, single elimination, games played in the first and second round of the knockout rounds. Games in the first and second round of the knockout rounds will count as regular season games for all purposes. Again, there's a little bit of working that could be done with this NBA in-season tournament, but look, it's a good thing. It gives people another reason to watch this regular season, really dive into these earlier games, in the first half of the season, and it gives the players a little bit of chance to compete for some money. But now, as I mentioned, talking about the schedule for the NBA Cup, on the 31st, the Grizzlies play the Lakers in the FedEx Forum. Then on November 7th, they play the Mavericks inside the FedEx Forum. Then on the 26th, they play the Pelicans inside the Smoothie King Arena. And then on the 28th, they play the Clippers inside their new arena. I can't remember what the name of it was. I almost called it the Staples Center. But yeah, so you see the schedule here. Me personally, I think at worst case scenario, the Grizzlies go 3-1. Best case scenario, they win all these games. Because I think the Grizzlies have the talent. Now, I'm sure some wise guy is going to go back and one of my other videos and say, well, you said this and you said that. Let me tell you, I've been reading a lot about the Grizzlies roster here recently, and I'm preparing a video that I saw one commenter suggest me do. So it's sports, people's opinions change, different things come out, different takes are built. Anyways, the only game I see the Grizzlies having a significant chance to lose is the one against the Lakers. Only because we've seen how the Grizzlies played the Lakers before. Because the Grizzlies are playing two teams. The Grizzlies are having to do two things. Beat the Lakers and not let the refs determine the game. There was a podcast with Evan Turner talking about Andre Iguodala when he was on the Sixers with him in the playoffs, talking about don't let the referee's whistle determine the game. Similar instance here. The Grizzlies are going to have to make sure they win it and not give the Lakers a chance to fall back on another sort of way to win. Now, I hate saying that as a sports fan because it sounds like that's everybody's favorite excuse when their favorite team loses. Oh, the refs were against our team. Well, we've seen Grizzly fans have seen how it operates before. That's all I'm going to say. But talking about this in-season tournament, talking about the NBA Cup for this season. Again, I definitely think it's winnable if we go back and we look at the groups. The favorite to me is the Thunder or the Grizzlies. In the West, and I'm just going to go through each group and give you my favorite. For West A, I'm going to say it's the Thunder. For West B, it's the Grizzlies. For West C, it's the Spurs. In the East, I like the Clippers. See, I did it again. I like the Cavaliers, and I like the Magic. And then in Group C, I like the Knicks or the Bucks. Now, ultimately, I think the NBA Finals is going to be possibly the Cavaliers and the Nuggets or somebody. But if you ask me my perfect NBA Finals, it's the Grizzlies versus the Magic. But that's a topic for another video and another day. That's not today. But again, the NBA Cup, while it says it's randomly drawn, I don't agree with that. There's just too many familiarities that make it kind of questionable. Now, if the Grizzlies were in a group with the Jazz, the Kings, the Blazers, and maybe the Nuggets, then I'd say, yeah, that's pretty random. But the fact of the matter is that it's two teams from Los Angeles, three teams from the same division. That's not really random. I mean, I feel like they were going to put the LA teams at the same spot no matter where it was, but I just feel like it's a little too much of a coincidence to be called random. But before I go away, I want to remind everybody that 67% of you guys are not subscribed. To my 33%, I say thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning into these videos. To my 67% of you, why are you not clicking that subscribe button? Let me know what you guys think about the NBA Cup this year. Who's your favorites? Who is your NBA Cup MVP favorite? I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I know this is Grizzlies Digest, but what do you think about the Cup as a whole? Is there a team that you like from the East or a different team in the West that you like that the Grizzlies possibly need to watch out for this season? Me personally, as long as everybody stays healthy, once they get back from injury, then I think the Grizzlies are going to be a dominant team in the West before too long. Of course, that meaning when everybody gets back from injury and everybody kind of gets familiar with one another. But again, guys, let me know what you think about this year's NBA Cup group draw results. Let me know who the favorite team is for you guys in the comment section. This has been another episode of Grizzlies Digest. I'm Tristan Harlen signing off, saying goodbye. I will see you guys next time. Peace.